It's me. I'm gonna put my hair up, but I just thought it looked like really cool. I don't know. So I wanted to like show you, but I am gonna put it up because it's a little greasy. I should probably wash it like tomorrow or the next day. So there we go. I like it to be a little floppy, I guess. Whatever. Ew. Okay. You know, I'm not so sure. That looks a little better, I think. Okay. So I'm home from the hospital. As you can see, this hair is really pissing me off. But I am feeling better, so that's good. I was supposed to, oh my god, I was so pissed. So, Sunday, I talked to the doctors, and they were like, when do you want to go home? And I was like, tomorrow, please. And they were like, yeah, of course, it doesn't matter. So I told them that, and basically, they had to, do my PFTs, which basically tests how good or how shitty my lungs are doing. So they wanted to do that before I went. Totally understandable, I was expecting that. So, I told them this on Sunday. The PFT lab isn't open on the weekends. So I was like, okay, so Monday. So I told them that. They're like, okay. They didn't put in an order or anything. So then I talked to the doctors the next day, which was different doctors because the weekend doctors are different doctors. So I was like, yeah, I want to go home today. And they're like, okay, well, we'll put in for a PFT lab. Well, it took the doctor like 80 fucking years to put it in. And so by the time they put it in, it was like lunchtime, like it was like noon. The PFT lab closes at 4, and they were all booked for the day. But of course, nobody wanted to tell me that they were booked for the day. I kept asking and asking and asking, and they're just like, oh, well, we're still waiting on a time. I know what that means. Why can't you just be honest with me? Why can't you just tell me I'm not going home today? Because I was pissed because they told me Sunday that I was going home Monday. So I had my friend drive all the way there, like an hour from his house, to pick me up and drive me home. And then he was sitting there and waiting, and I was sitting there and I was waiting, and I'm like, oh my god. And then they finally told me, my nurse, I felt so bad, but like my nurse came in and she was like, I have some bad news. And I heard her say it out in the hallway, so I just went, yeah, I heard you out in the hallway. And she's like, yeah, like you're not getting your PFTs today, so that means you're not going home today. And I was like, I'm not mad at you, it's not your fault, but I'm really pissed and I'm really frustrated because it took all day. Like, my friend drove here to pick me up. I was told that I was going home today. I was really disappointed. I have a therapy appointment tomorrow that I was planning on going to, and now I have to call and cancel it, and it's less than 24 hours ahead of time, so that screws her over because I know, like, you're supposed to cancel within 24 hours so they can put, like, new patients in or whatever if someone wanted to come in. I'm like, I was just really expecting to go home today and really upset, and she was just like, sorry, because, like, of course she can't do anything other than say sorry. It's not her fault. Like, it's the doctors and it's the PFT's fault, or the PFT lab or whatever. So then she left, and then I went into the bathroom and I cried and took a bath, and then I came out, and then my friend left, and whatever. But that was like a horrible, like, all day was just horrible. Like, I woke up and I was like, emotionally, I felt like ass. And then that happened, and then there was this lady, oh my god, like the night before and all throughout the day, she would just randomly scream for, like, I don't know why, but she was across the hall and she would just scream, and I'm like, oh my god. And I was like not in the mood to like deal with it. Like, just everything that day was just horrible. Everything was pissing me off. My attitude was horrible. Everything that was happening was, like, not good. Like, it wasn't horrible, but it was just, everything added up, and I was just, like, literally, like, today is, like, one of the worst days that I've had in such a long time. But then, luckily, Tuesday, I woke up. I was like, I'm getting my PFTs done. They got me in at, like, 11:15 or something, and I was able to go home later that afternoon. My same friend drove all the way back to pick me up. Really nice. I got to go home. I got to make food. I made chicken and rice, like I always do. I got to see my cat that I missed. Oh, I miss my cat. Oh my god, I miss him so much. things were just much better yesterday. Yesterday was a very good day. So two things that I believe I mentioned before. I'm applying for disability, and I'm also I'm supposed to get evaluated for a lung transplant. So I know I talked about a lung transplant. Can't remember if I mentioned disability in any of my other videos. For the lung transplant, I am excited and nervous as hell. Because I still have to set up the appointment because we keep on playing phone tag. Like, I'll call them, leave a message, they call me back, leave a message. So eventually I will set up an appointment, and then basically I go there, they tell me about it, and then they let me decide if I'm ready to be evaluated, like if emotionally I like want this, or if I hear what they say and I'm like, you know what, I don't even want a lung transplant. And then when they actually evaluate me, apparently I go to the hospital and like stay in the area for like 3 or 4 days, and they like take all my blood and like test like every single part of my body to see if I can have a lung transplant or if I'll just die on the operating table. I don't know. So that's like something that I didn't realize, but that's good to know. And I feel, knowing that and knowing that I did call them, even though I haven't actually set up anything yet, knowing that I called them and I like initiated it feels productive and feels like I'm moving in the right direction, although now I'm really scared because not really scared, but I kind of assumed like once I went down there that I'm just put on the list. Like, I didn't really think about like, yeah, you can't be so sick, like they're ripping open your body, so you have to be healthy enough to deal with that. And I like didn't really like go through my mind. Like, I was just kind of like, yeah, you're sick, you go on the transplant list and then you get the transplant. But like there's this like weird window that you have to fit into because you have to be sick enough to need new lungs, but not too sick that you'll die if they try to give you new lungs. So that's kind of like, I mean, that hasn't really set in yet, so I'm not like too worried about it, but I'm sure like once the time comes, like I'm gonna be really nervous because like, what if I'm so sick? Or what if like they mentioned something about like weight plays a part in it, and I'm like, oh, Lord Jesus, I don't have any weight. So that's kind of like worrisome, but it's something that I'll worry about when I get there, and you know, like I'm not gonna know until I get evaluated, so it's not like sitting here being worried is gonna like do anything. And then what's it called? Starts with the D. Disability. So that I've been like fluctuating on and off because there's a part of me that really wants to do it or apply or like whatever, and there's a part of me that doesn't because I mean, obviously, like I have CF. I'm surrounded by people who don't have CF and in general don't have disabilities, or at least not like life-altering ones. And it can be difficult because I tend to put myself on the same standard as people who don't have CF. So like, I already feel a little bit like a failure because I can't work 40 hours a week without dying. And I'm only working 24 hours a week. And I'm fortunate enough that I can do that and still make enough money to like live in an apartment and have a cat and buy food and not completely die. So like, there's that, but there's still the fact that most of my friends, you know, or people my age anyways, are like working 40 hours a week or working more, and they're like doing all that in order to supply their income, and like they're living life the normal way. And like, although I'm fortunate that I don't have to do that, I feel sometimes it feels embarrassing that I can't do that. And I mean, most people don't like to feel embarrassed. I don't like to feel embarrassed. I don't like to need people or whatever. So, even taking that time originally from jumping down from a management position working 40 hours to just a stylist position working 24 hours a week, was really difficult for me, and it took me a while to really accept that, like, okay, I need that. And I was able to do that, and actually I probably make more money now than I did as a manager at that salon. So, whatever. That's like a good thing. But with disability, you can only work 20 hours or less per week. At least in the state of Pennsylvania. I don't know how it is everywhere else. Sorry, my brain just went dead. Oh, and I had talked to, there's an attorney that helps with that is, like, who works for the CF Foundation, I guess, or works with them at least. And basically she will basically do it all for you. Like, you have to give her your information, and she'll basically do it all for you and get you disability on the first try. And she's had over 4,000 cases, won every single one on the first try. I meet 4 out of the 5 criteria of being sick enough to go on disability. So that's not really going to be an issue. But the concern for me is that she said basically you have to start working less before you start applying. So I have to cut back my hours at work and then apply for disability. So there's going to be this gap where I'm only working, like, however many hours, which I'll get to that too, like how many hours I can do and stuff, but where I'm working a very small amount of hours, and I'm also not getting a disability check to, like, make up for the fact that I'm barely working. So that, like, stresses me out. I know I'll be okay. I know I have money saved up, and I know I have people in my life who support me and can help me if I need it, but it still, like, stresses me out. I don't like asking people for help. I don't like feeling like I'm losing money, or, like, I'd rather, like, stay stable or, like, save money, and I don't like being like, it's okay if I lose money for the next few months because then I'll get it back. Like, I don't like depending on that. It just makes me freak out. So I don't like that. But basically, so I said, when you're on disability, you have to work under 20 hours a week, because basically the thought behind it is, like, well, if you can work more than 20 hours a week, then you're not really disabled, which, like, isn't true, but, like, I get they have to have some sort of standard there or whatever. So that's their standard. But when I was talking to the attorney on the phone it was like 2 months ago, because it was when I got out of the hospital the last time, she said that it makes it much easier to get approved for disability if I shorten my hours to under 15. And then once I get disability, it's okay to bump up my hours a little bit if I wanted to, like, say, work, closer to 20 hours. But that she really recommended, like, it's not a law, you don't have to, but it makes things way more difficult if I'm working, like, 18, 19 hours a week. It's much harder for her to get me disability than if I just bump it down to 15 or less. And a part of that is really, like, there's pros and cons to working less, and it's like, I don't know how to feel, because when I'm really sick, like when I'm sitting in the hospital, sick, coughing, sleeping all day, feeling just terrible, I'm like, I don't want to work at all. I just want to sit at home, do my treatments, live my life, and, like, that's all I want to do. Like, I don't even want to work. I don't, like, it just takes too much energy out of me. But then, like, today, I'm home from the hospital. I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm feeling a little bit healthy, or relatively healthy, and I'm like, I can't imagine only working, 2 days a week. Like, what am I gonna do with myself for the rest of the week? When I'm sick, I really need that time to just be at home and not be working. But when I'm on the healthier side of things, I really can work, like, more. And it's kind of hard because the standard, it's a standard. It's like, you can't be like, well, when I'm sick, I get disability, and when I'm healthy, I don't. Because, like, I mean, granted, I'm always sick, but, like, I'm talking in reference, I guess. But it makes it difficult because if I, permanently agree to working 2 days a week, I'm worried that I'm gonna get so bored, and I know when I spend a lot of time alone, my mental health does not do very well. But then I know when I work, then I get sick, and then I'm forced to go to work still, because that's my job, that you have to go to work, and then I'm so sick that my mental health goes down the drain too, and so it's really hard to find that balance, and that's what I'm trying to do. But I don't want to like throw out numbers. I was able to make an account, and it tells you like what your disability check would be if you get approved. And it was like I in life I set my expectations low. That way you get pleasantly surprised a lot more than heartbroken and upset and hurt. So in this case, I did the same thing. And I knew there was like a range, but I didn't know what to expect. So I expected something very low, which stressed me out because then I'm like, I can only work this number of hours and I have to squeeze a certain amount of money into that in order to still survive and live where I'm living and live with my cat and buy food and not die. And the number, I mean, it's approximate, but I'm pretty sure it's fairly accurate, because it's based off of, like, how much money you've made working already, or so, I don't know, I don't know. But from my understanding, it's fairly accurate, and, it's actually a lot more than what I was expecting, which makes me feel better financially about possibly only working 2 days a week. I think that it would be really beneficial for me to only work 2 days a week. And I'm like almost on board with it. I'm not there yet. But I feel better. It's more, I think it's just the more of the social stigma of like, wow, you don't work and you get money. But it's not, if I didn't have CF, I would be working 40 hours a week. And I keep pushing myself to be not disabled, or to like somebody who doesn't have CF, and it's not working. Like every friggin' time, my body's like, Bryn, hello, did you not get the hint the last 87 times you were in the hospital? Stop. So I'm trying to listen to that. It's hard, because even, and I think I might read into it more, but even like, if I mention like telling my clients that I stepped down and I'm only working 4 days a week because of my health, they're all like, nobody was like, well, that's BS. Like, they were all like, yeah, it makes total sense. But like in my head, I'm like, they're just saying that. Like, they don't really think that. They're judging me. They think I'm terrible. They think I'm lazy. And like, I don't want to be seen as lazy. But also, like, I'm getting to the point where I don't care if people think I'm lazy, because I know I'm not, and I know that I'm sick, and I know that I need this. So that's my update with disability. I'm right now in this very moment, I'm very excited about it. But I still have a lot of worries, and there's just like so much that's like, what if, and I'm not gonna know until I just like start frickin' doing it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start doing it. So yeah, I'm really hungry, so I think I'm gonna go cook some chicken and rice. I'm gonna log off, but that's my update for the day. Alright, bye.